Hello, it's your Scholar Hub YouTube channel series. Today we had an experience sharing session with a student who is African Leadership Alumni. In this session, what should I expect before entering African Leadership Academy, and what would I do to admit it, and other information you will benefit if you watch the full video. Stay tuned till the end of the video. This channel in Amharic, so I will continue in Amharic. ሰላም ጋይስ እንዴት ናችሁ? የኢትዮ ስኮላር ሀብ የዩቲዩብ ቻናል ተከታታዮች ዛሬ ከአፍሪካ ሊደርሺፕ አልማሚ ከሆነች ልጅ ጋር የነበረን ቆይታና ኤክስፒሪየንስ ሼሪንግ ነበረን። በዚህ ሼሪንግ ላይ እንዴት አድርጌ አድሚት መደረግ አለብኝ እና ደግሞ አፍሪካ ሊደርሺፕ አካዳሚ ከመሄዴ በፊት ምን አይነት ኤክስፔክቴሽን መኖር አለበት አፕላይ ከማድረጌ እዛ አድሚትን ከመደረጌ በፊት የሚለውን ሙሉ ቪዲዮን ካያችሁት በደንብ ትረዳላችሁ ብዬ አስባለሁ። ይጠቅማችኋል ብዬ ነው ይሄንን ፖስት ማድረገው። ይሄ ፓርት 1 ነው። ሙሉ ቪዲዮ እስከ መጨረሻው ተከታተሉት። ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ኮሜንት ላይ አስቀምጡልኝ። ፓርት 2 ይቀጥላል።
Video settings. Let me just check here.
Yeah.
You started? It's working now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. Tell me something about yourself.
Tell me about myself.
Yeah.
My name, I guess. That's so my name is Ethiopian, and I'm from Ethiopia, and I'm currently studying philosophy, political science, and economics at Ashoka University.
Okay. How do you hear about African Leadership Academy?
African Leadership Academy. So there was a student in my school who, he used to study my high school, Cathedral Liberty Markut. So he used to teach. No, wait, you're gonna edit that out, right? He used to. There was a student who came to Cathedral to give a short talk about the university, and I heard it like Kasuya Yangize, and then I did my research about the academy, and then I applied.
Okay. Was there anyone who helped you or encouraged you when apply for African Leadership Academy?
Yes. So most of them were like students who were studying there, or people who had already graduated from ALA, and also just the director of my high school as well, who was very helpful, just editing my essays for me, and also my friends as well, who I used to work with in high school. They assisted me in that. Yeah. So mostly like people around me who I reached out to ask for help, because you would really need that if you want your essay to be edited, and if you want your essays to be really nice and just to be very comprehensible by the person who's reading it. So asking for help helped me a lot. Now since I reached out to a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay. And did you think that I would be selected from those who applied?
Of course not. Of course not. Who, like, no one does. Like, I mean, I was hopeful that that I would get accepted, but I was not 100% confident because, again, it's a very competitive school. I don't know about now, but at that time the admission rate was like 5%. So
Yeah.
imagine it was very, very, very selective. But I just gave it my best, and since I really wanted to go as well, I think those things just worked and I got lucky. But again, it all goes down to how you prepare yourself during the application process. And I think that's what helped me, but I didn't think I was going to get in. Definitely not.
How was your grade? It's average.
Average, okay. So, I don't want it to be like I'm bragging or anything. And I go around doing that. Again, like it's like I was an average student. Cathedral Sitamar, it's also competitive as well, Cathedral.
Yeah.
But can't discuss those but I used to be around those 1, 2, 3, you know? I was there.
Okay. What are you up to now? If you went to university, in which country did you go, and what's your major?
I'm currently studying PPE. PPE stands for political science, philosophy, and economics. That's my major. And I'm studying at Ashoka University. It's a university in India. And yeah, so.
Okay, what do you realize about the African Leadership Academy process?
How do I?
what do you realize the direction the practical
Realize
process
about.
like
Okay, okay. So, yeah, again, as I said earlier, first you have to, whenever you're applying, not only to ALA, but like in general, even if like it doesn't work out here, and just in general, one thing I've learned through the process is the value of just persistence and patience. In the sense, sometimes you might not get the response you want as soon as possible when you're reaching out to people. Namsale, if you're asking for help, people might not respond as soon as possible because maybe they have their own works, or it's just sometimes things don't work out, right?
yeah,
So it requires a lot of patience, and that really pays Bohara like, because when you're applying for college, when you're applying for other things, you will learn the value of patience, right? So that's one thing I realized about the entire application process is that you really have to be patient when you're applying. And secondly, you have to give it your all. In a sense, it's not the end of the world. It's not everything, but if you're investing your time and applying to a place, then you have to do research. Research is very important. That's one thing I realized about, because you're gonna end up there, you're gonna spend 2 years in a university or in a high school academy. So one thing that's very important is doing research. So if you do research, you have to do it a holistic research, right? So what's the weather gonna be like? That's very important. It sounds very silly, but people would be like, yeah, but we're only going there for education. We don't really need it, that much. We don't need to know much about the weather, right? But it's very important in the sense you're going to be spending there like 2 years. And even though it's very it seems nice to talk about, like, yeah, getting a scholarship and everything, it's also very important to have a very good time there as well. So how is the weather like? What is the food like? How are the people like? How is the environment like? Are there people from Ethiopia there? Are there people from other countries there, right? So እነሱን ሁላ ኮንሲደር መደረግ አለባቸው when you're applying to any place, but also ALA. So research was also very important. And last one is just consistency and just resilience, in the sense ከገባህም በኋላ there's going to be a lot of work. It's not just going to be ቀላል ነገር ስለማይሆን. That's also another thing that you should consider, in the sense, yeah, okay, አሁን ገብቻለሁ, what is the expectations, right? እና ደግሞ ትምህርት
once
ቤቱም ምን ነው ኦፈር የሚያደርግልኝ. Yeah.
okay, I'll be back one and
Hi.
okay, continue.
So yeah, so the last part is resilience. Like, when there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen. Like, it's going to be a different country. It's going to be a different. It's going to be a different. It's going to be a sudden shift as well. You have to adapt to a different place, right? So realizing that this is not going to be like home, realizing that it's a different place, realizing that you're also going to make it because there are people who made it before you, but also understanding that that people are there. Even if you're having difficulties again, you can ask for help. You can ask for help from your teachers or from your friends. That's very important. So I think these three things are the things I realized when I was applying to ALA.
Okay, what challenge do you face in this process when you are applying for
The
African
application process.
Academy? Were you wondering about the next step and tell us something about African Leadership Academy scholarship?
Okay. So challenges. The first one was family, right? So when I first said I want to apply to a place in South Africa, they were like, "No, you're not." And I was like, "Yes, I am." And they're like, "No, you're not." And then I said, "Okay, fine." And then I explained it to them. I said, "Yeah, these are the things that I would be needing. Like, this are the things I'll be getting from this out school, and it will also help me grow in these ways." And they were like, okay, fine, if you say so. But then I had to convince them, because so parents, they want you to end up in a good place, and that comes from the parental concern and love that they have for you, right? It's that one, these might be the things you might experience when you're applying to colleges or any place abroad in general, is that parents might not be willing to let you go, right? But it's very important to know that where their concern, where their worry is coming from. They might just be afraid that you will end up in a bad place, or they don't want to let you go, right? So you have to convince them and tell them that, yeah, it's like it's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be different, but I just explain it to them, and because for you to explain it to them, you have to do research about where you're going to, right? That's where the whole research thing comes. So that was one thing. Another one was just even being sure about myself, like just thinking when I was thinking about it, I was not 100% sure that this was the place I wanted to go, right? Because my plan before that was to study medicine and to become a doctor, and now it's like a whole different thing. But that was also another difficulty in a sense. What is my future going to look like if I actually decide on like taking this opportunity and going to South Africa, right? Or just going to ALA and studying. But again, asking those questions really helped me in a sense. I was just not going much offend like, okay, yes, it's a scholarship, it's an opportunity. I have to get out of this country and get out. But instead, I thought about it. I said, if I go out, what's gonna happen? Right then on, before I even went to school. Because you're when you go there, they're gonna assume that you figured these things out. In a sense, you have an idea of where you want to go, right? ስለዚህ ግዴታ መጀመሪያ እንትን እያለን ገና ላይክ አፕሊኬሽኑን ከመጣም በኋላ አፕሊኬሽኑም ሲጀመርም ያን የሆኑ ማሰብ አለበት አንድ ሰው ይሄን ከተቀበልኩ በኋላ ምንድን መጣጥመኝ ራይት እና ምንድነው መሆን የምፈልገው ራይት አንድ ነገር እኔ ኤሌ ያገዘኝ ብዬ ማስበው it's like you're going to hear about it but even there as well and people who've studied at ALA for me was just diversifying that I got going on and understanding right. So we were doing a lot of entrepreneurship things, which is currently my area of interest. So so there are three mandatory courses a student is supposed to take: African Studies, Writing and Rhetoric, and Entrepreneurial Leadership. Right. So entrepreneurial leadership was one of my favorite classes because I loved doing groundwork. I loved learning about how to do startups and not only just startups, but just the mindset itself, right? Like you don't have to become like a multi-billionaire for you to be called a business jamari, right? Instead, it's like initiatives, small initiatives, right? Like the YouTube videos that you're working right now. That is one thing. That is how it starts as well, right? Because you see a problem. What's the problem? ተማሪዎች ብዙዎቹ application process እንዴት እንደሆነ እንትን difficult ስለሆነ they need guidance. Okay, then how do I solve it? Let me make a YouTube channel that fixes that problem for them, that tries to solve it. That is an entrepreneurial way of looking at it, right? So which is really commendable. So these small things that you take, and I understood how important they are, no matter how small or big they might look. They have an impact on the person who's watching them or who's taking a part of them, right? So it is very important to have that. And I learned that there. I said, like, and that's one thing I saw is like everything that we do has value and you can contribute no matter no matter where you are, no matter what you want to do, right? If I want to sell a phone, resell the phone, I can do it. That will bring value. I don't just have to make like big. I don't have to have a big company to start selling phones. Small things like that, right? So that is, yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay. After completing ALA, do you have to return home when they apply for college application, or can they apply in the African Leadership Academy?
Okay, yeah, they can apply Zayalu. So in the second year, actually in the when like around the end of your first year, the whole college application process starts, right? So universities start coming to the campus. They give like short introduction about the universities. So they visit campus and young students get introduced to these universities, right? And then students start writing their essays for the university applications by the end of their first year. So that's the one thing the school keeps in mind. There are counselors as well, university counselors, guidance counselors, who are in charge of these things, right? So the end of the first year, this process starts. And then during the summer, you're expected to write your essays. You'll also take your SAT as well, which is offered on campus. And then after that, like when the beginning of your second year, you will start your college applications because that is the application time, like November, early decision ያለባቸው timeዎች ናቸው. So a lot of students apply during that time as well. And but yeah, it's
በዛው
happens on
መሄድ
campus.
ይችላሉ ማለት ነው። ማለት ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ሳይመለሱ
Yes,
በዛው
yes, yes.
ትራቭል ማድረግ ይችላሉ።
በዛው አንዳንድ ተማሪዎች ያደርጋሉ። but for you if you want to አንዳንድ ጊዜ ደግሞ difficult ሊሆን ይችላል። ለምሳሌ ቪዛን እዛው አድርገህ እዛ ማስመታት ማትችል ከሆነ ኢትዮጵያ ተመልሰህ አስመጥተህ መሄድ ትችላለህ። right ግን
ኮስቱ በማን ነው? በራስ
application
ወጪ ማለት ነው።
it depends on your financial aid package, right? So if your financial aid package is if you're paying full, they don't really cover much. But if you're paying your amount, it will be on the financial aid ዶክመንት የሚሰጥሃል ለፋይናንሻል ስታገኝ የሚሰጥ ዶክመንት አለ እዛ ላይ ፍላይት ከቨር እናደርጋለን አናደርግም የሚለው አግሪመንት ይኖራል። ስለዛ እዛ ላይ ማየት ይቻላል።
ከእንትኑ
ፍላይትን ከቨር
ከዩኒቨርሲቲው ማለት ነው አፕላይ ካደረኩበት ዩኒቨርሲቲ አይደለ?
ከኤሌ ራሱ
ኖ አይ እኔ ያልኩሽ ኤሌማ ፋይናንሻል ፓኬጅ እንትን ሙሉ የሚሰጡት ፓኬጅ አለ። በኢትስ ዲፔንድ ኦን ዘ ፋሚሊ ኢንካም ኤንድ በወንዝ ላይ በወር ላይ የሚያወጡት ወጪ ገቢያቸው ተመስርቶ ማለት ነው አይደለ?
ሄሎ
ሄሎ አይሰማም? የፋሚሊያቸው ገቢ ኢንካማቸውና በወር ላይ ምን ያክል ወጪ እንደሚያደርጉ ምናምን the whole thing ታይቶ ለተማሪ የሚሰጥ የሆነ የሚከፍለው ነገር አለ። በተርም ይከፈላል አይደስ? ከዛ ሚኒመም አማውንት አለው፣ በጣም ማክሲመም ደግሞ አለ የሚከፍሉበት ያላቸው ብር። ከዛ በኋላ እዛ የሚሰጠው ፓኬጅ ላይ ትራቭል ኮስት ከቨር እናደርጋለን ላይክ በተርም ይሄን ያክል ትከፍላለህ፣ በሁለት ዓመት ደግሞ ይሄን ያክል ትከፍላለህ ምናምን ብሎ ይነገራቸዋል። ከዛ አፍተር ዳት እዛ ሄደው ከተማሩ በኋላ ሁለት ዓመታቸውን ጨርሰው ለኮሌጅ አፕላይ አድርገው ሲሄዱ ከዛው ሀገር ከጆሃንስበርግ ቀጥታ ወደ አፕላይ ወዳደረጉበት ኮሌጅ ይሄዳሉ ወይስ ኢትዮጵያ ተመልሰው መጥተው ነው ከእንደገና ወደዛ የሚሄዱት? እንደነገርሽኝ ከሆነ አሁን ቪዛ የሚመታላቸው ኢትዮጵያ ከሆነ ኢትዮጵያ ይመጣሉ፣ ካልሆነ ደግሞ በዛው ይሄዳሉ። ይሄ ደግሞ የሚሰጣቸው ስኮላርሺፕ አለና ፉል ስኮላርሺፕ የማግኘት ቻንስ አለው። ከዛ አፕላይ ሲያደርጉና የት ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች እና ሀገሮች አፕላይ ማድረግ ይችላሉ?
እሱም ዲፔንድ የሚያደርገው ፓኬጃቸው ላይ ነው። ራይት ሶ ዩኒቨርሲቲውም ራሱ ፓኬጅ ይኖረዋል። ሶ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ውስጣቸው ፓኬጅ አለ እና እሱ ላይ ማተር ያደርጋል። ብዙዎች አንዳንዶች የሚከበር የሚያደርጉላቸው ተማሪዎች አሉ፣ አንዳንዶች ደግሞ አይደረግላቸው ልጆች አሉ። አጊያን እሱ ዲፔንድ የሚያደርገው የገባበት ዩኒቨርሲቲ ላይ ነው። ራይት ሶ ፋይናንሻል ኤድ ለምሳሌ አሁን የመጣበት ትምህርት ቤት ራሴ ፍላይትን ከፈር ያደረኩትኝ፣ ግን ሌላው ነገር ከፈር ያደርጋሉ። አንዳንድ ነገሮችን ከፈር የሚያደርጉ አሉ። አንዳንድ ልጆች ደግሞ ፍላይትን ከፈር የሚደረግላቸው አሉ፣ ብዙ ነገር ከፈር የሚደረግላቸው አሉ። ራይት ሶ ኢት ዲፔንድስ ኦን ዘ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ዩ አፕላይ ቱ እና ደግሞ ዩ ጌት ኢንቱ ራይት ለእነሱ ፓኬጅ እንደ ኤሌ እንደሚለየው ለእነሱም ይለያል።
ስንት ዩኒቨርሲቲ አፕላይ ማድረግ ይችላል?
ያ እሱ ላይ ልመጣ ነው። ሶ the university used to have this policy where አንድ ተማሪ ወደ 8 ወደ 10 አሜሪካ ሀገር አፕላይ ማድረግ ይችላል ብቻ። ከዛ ግን ሌላ ኦፕሽኖችን ብዙ ጊዜ ሰዎች ወደ አሜሪካ ብቻ አፕላይ ስለሚያደርጉ አሜሪካ ብቻ አፕላይ እንዳይደረግ በማለት የሆነ ሊሚት አለው። 10 ወደ 10 ሀገር አፕላይ አድርጉ ይሉ ነበር በኛ ጊዜ። ከዛ በኋላ የተቀሩት ደግሞ ልጆች የተቀሩ ሀገሮች ደግሞ ኤቭሪ ሌላ ሀገር ሊሚት ያለው፣ አሜሪካ ብቻ ነው ሊሚት ያለው። ምክንያቱም አሜሪካ ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች ብዙ ሰው በጣም አፕላይ ማድረግ ስለሚል እሱም ሜንታሊቲ ለማጥፋት ነው። ላይክ ሌላም ሀገር ትምህርት አለ፣ ሌላም ሀገር ኦፖርቹኒቲ አለ የሚለውን ለማበረታታት ይሄን እንትን ያደርጋሉ። ሶ ግን you can apply to any place you want to የሁሉም ሀገር አቬይላቢሊቲ አለ። ግዴታ እዚህ ጋር አድርገው የሚል የለም። ግን የአሜሪካ ብቻ ሊሚት እንዳለው አውቃለሁ።
አንቺ አፕላይ ባረግሽበት ሰዓት ላይ did you get a full scholarship እና what you recommend for other applicants?
ኦኬ የኔ ሙሉ በሙሉ ባይሆንም ተሸፍኖልኛል። በአብዛኛው ነገር ተሸፍኖልኛል ማለት ይቻላል። ሙሉ ለአሁንም ያልኩት በየትምህርት ቤቱ ይለያል እንደ ፓኬጁ ማለት ነው። ራይት አንዳንድ ትምህርት ቤት ጭራሽ ስታይፐንድም የሚሰጥ ሰው አለ። አሁን እኔ ስታይፐንድ አላገኝም። ስታይፐንድ ማያገኙም አሉ፣ የሚያገኙ ልጆችም አሉ። ራይት አንድ ተማሪዎች አያገኙም። ስለዛ again it depends on እንዴት አፕላይ እንዳደረክ እና የት አፕላይ እንዳደረክ እና ያገኘውን ኦፈር ራይት። እና one thing that's very important to remember is even if የመጀመሪያ የተሰጠ ፓኬጅ ካንተ ከፍ ያለ ከሆነ some universities actually give the option of እንትን የሚሉት ነገር አለ። right so do that again. So some universities have this አማራጭ አላቸው አፒል አድርጎ አፒል አታድርጉ የሚሉት ነገር so do you want to appeal meaning ይሄ ፋይናንሻል ኦፈር ካልተመቸ ምን እንቀንስላችሁ የሚለው ኦፕሽኖች አላቸው so you should always remember that there's always options like that ALM ይሄም አፒል ኦፕሽን አለው so ALM ገንዘብ ሰጥታችሁ ከተስማማችሁ አፒል ማድረግ ኦፖርቹኒቲም አላችሁ ስለዚህ
እንትን አፍሪካ ሊደርሺፕ አካዳሚ ላይ ማለት ነው አሁን ለምሳሌ የፋሚሊ ኢንካም ትንሽ ነው ሲሆን ነው አሪፍ ስኮላርሺፕ የሚሰጥ ይባላል ላይክ በባንክ ስቴትመንት ማሳየው ብር መጠንና ወጪ ገቢ ምናምን የተመጣጠነ ነገር ሆኖ እሱን አሳይቻቸው ላይክ ባንክ ውስጥ ላይክ ወደ 70,000 ብር አለና እሱን አሳየዋቸውና እነሱ ወደ ዶላር ሲቀየር አይገስ ወደ 1,000 ምናምን ዶላር እና ይሄንን አሳይቻቸው ለነሱ የሆነ ያክል እንድከፍል ይጠይቁኛል በሁለት ዓመት አይደል ለሁለት ዓመት መክፈል ያለብኝ ፓኬጅ እና ባንክ ውስጥ ያለው ብር ትንሽ አድርጌ ባሳያቸው እነሱ የሚሰጡኝ ስኮላርሺፕ አሪፍ ነው ይሆናል ማለት ነው የግድ ትልቅ ብር ማሳየት ጥሩ አይደለም ለዚህ ብለሽ ነው
እኔ ትክክለኛውን ማለት ያለኝን ያሳየው ስለዛ like I don't know እንዴት እንደሚኮንቨርት እንደሚያደርጉት ግን ኦፈሩ ካልተስማማ አሁንም መናገር ትችላለህ ይሄ ነገር አልተመቸኝም ብለህ የተሰጠን ኦፈር ማለት ነው ሶ አፒል ማድረግ ኦፕሽን አለ ያ ወደ ኮሌጆቹ ደግሞ ስንመጣ አንድ ተማሪ ጋይደንስ ይሰጠዋል ማለትም they are going to be university guidance counselors so እነሱን በደንብ መጠቀም ግን እነሱ ላይ ብቻ ደግሞ ዲፔንደንት አለመሆን again ምክንያቱም የራስ አፕሊኬሽን ፕሮሰስ ከመሆኑ ድረስ ራስን አፕላይ ማድረግ አለበት ግን there is assistance ግን again ALA ስትመጡ ኤክስፔክት ማድረግ ያለባችሁ ነገሮች አንድ በማስበው ነገር it's going to be a very vibrant community right in a sense there's going to be a lot of things happening on campus but one thing እኔ ጠቀመኝ ብዬ ማስበው ALA ዓለም ምን ያክል ትንሽ እንዳልሆነች እንድረዳ አድርጎኛል በእኔ ይሄን ኤክስፒሪየንስ ማለት ነው ማለትም በጣም ብዙ ኦፖርቹኒቲዎች አሉ ኦፖርቹኒቲ ግን ስል የማቴሪያል ኦፖርቹኒቲ ብቻም ሳይሆን ላይክ የእውቀት ኦፖርቹኒቲዎች አለ የሰውን የማወቅ ብዙ ሰው ማወቅ ችያለው በዛ ምክንያት እና I think that is one of the most በጣም ያተረፍኩት ነገር ሰው ማወቄ ነው እና በጣም like it was very beneficial plus ደግሞ I got introduced to a very interesting department in the sense I'm still pursuing that field till today because of just how I enjoyed it young easy right so yeah now part like it's very again one thing you have to know is if you're applying to ALA you have to know that system ALA በኋላ ምን እንደምታስቡ የት እንደምትሄዱ ማሰብ አለባችሁ ምክንያቱም በኋላ እዛ ሄዳችሁ ግራ ከምትጋቡ አሁን like okay so if your plan is to go abroad ከዛም በኋላ so yeah will provide you with what you need right in the sense guidance counselor ይኖራችኋል ራሳችሁም ተማሪዎቹ አካባቢዎች ስለሚኖር ያገዛችሁ ይችላሉ plus ደግሞ you'll have seniors የእናንተን experience ያደረጉ ኢትዮጵያውያኖች so they will be there for you no matter what that is like one thing that I loved like that I still love about it like most of my close friends are from ALA it's more of a family than just being a schoolmate Ethiopians በጣም ነው የምንረዳዳው እስካሁን ድረስ like ሞለም ዘለም የማይል ነገር ነው right that is one thing I'm really proud of and just happy about so there is going to be a community that's going to be assisting you no matter what after you start your journey throughout your journey know that people አሉ ሰዎች አሉ ሪቻት ማድረግ የምትችሏቸው right ቢከብዳችሁ ALA ቢከብዳችሁ ኢትዮጵያኖች ነበሩ ከዚህ በፊት እንደኔ ኤክስፒሪየንስ ያደረጉ let me call them and let's see right there is that so I think that's one thing I was able to get በደንብ አድርጌ through people who are genuinely like supportive and caring and ከትምህርት ቤቱ ሁሉ በላይ እሱ ይበልጣል ግን of course ትምህርቱን ጥሩ ነበረ ከዛም በኋላም ደግሞ ብዙ ነገሮች እንዳውቅ ለብዙ ነገሮች እንድዘጋጅም አድርጎኛል ወይ rounded እንደሆነ አድርጎኛል ጊዜ መጠን እንዴት መጠቀም እንዳለብኝ እንዴት ኦፖርቹኒቲ እና ችግሮች እንዴት አድርጌ ማየት እንዳለብኝና ማስተዋል እንዳለብኝ እንዲሁም ደግሞ አገሬን እንደወድ ይበልጥ አገሬን እንዳከብር አገሬን እንደወድ አድርጎኛል ሶ ተመልሼም በመመስመጣም አንደኛው ምክንያት በኤቤ ምክንያት ነው ምክንያቱም አገሬን ይበልጥ ወልጄ አገሬን ደግሞ እንዴት በምችለው አቅም ሀገሬን ማገልገል እንድችል. Service is a very important thing you learn in leadership, right? So how do I serve? Not how do I change my country, but how do I serve my country? And how do I serve my country in such a way that others also will want to serve their country as well? Because we have a very, very beautiful and diverse and just vibrant and community. And that there is that sense of, yeah, I want to go back to Ethiopia after this, though. Like, dead ripping So I guess.
Okay. አፍሪካን ሊደርሺፕ አካዳሚ ላይ አሁን ውጤታቸው ማተር አያደርግም ማለት ነው። ላይክ የሚጽፉት ኢሴይ ነው ዲፔንድ የሚያደርገው እነሱ ሊስሏቸው የሚችለው የሚጽፉትን ኢሴያተው ነው ማለት ነው። በቃ ሁሉም ነገር ራሳቸውን ይሄ ተማሪ ኢትስ ጉድ ኦር ናት የሚለውን ነገር የሚወስኑት ውጤቱን አይተው ሳይሆን ላይክ ያለውን የጻፈው የተጠየቀው ጥያቄ እሱ በመለሰው መልኩ አይተውት ላይክ ደግሞ አካዳሚክ ስታተሱ ላይ ፕሮግረስ ያለው ነገር መሆን አለበት። አይገስ አይደለ የሆነች ልሳዋበት this year join ያደረገች ላይክ my average is 16 so ችግር የለውም it depend on only essay just no matter about you GPA and your average ስላለችኝ ነውና ኦኬ ማን ብያት አይቼው በቃ በጣም አፕሊኬሽን እንትላችሁ መስራት ያለባችሁ እንጂ ላይክ ደግሞ ማንኛውንም ነገር no single answer just briefly ማብራራት አለባችሁ ግን ማንዛዛት የለባችሁ ላይክ ሐሳብ መደጋገም ሳይሆን አዳዲስ ነገር ሐሳብ ሆኖ ላይክ ዲቴል ማብራራት አለባችሁ ማሚባል ነገር አለና ኢንተርቪው ላይስ ምናምን ያለው ነገር ቆይ ከዛ በፊት ግን ልክ አንቺ አክሴፕታንስ ከመጣልሽ በኋላ ኢንተርቪው ገባሽ አይደለ ኢንተርቪው ከገባሽ በኋላ ከስንት ቀን በኋላ ነው ፎርም የመጣልሽ የሆነ ሰው ሳናገር ዲሽር እንትን ያደረገ ፎርም መጥቶ ከሞላ በኋላ አይገስ ወደ 10 ጊዜ ምናምን ፋሚሊ ይፈራረማል ደግሞ ተማሪዎቹ አንደር 18 ከሆኑ ደግሞ የሆነ ውልና ማስረጃ ሄደው ምናምን ነገር ብዙ ጣጣ አለው ነው ያለኝ በጣም ብዙ ነገር እንደ ነገሩ ሲያካውዶ ነው የነገረኝ እኔ ስሰባው ለቃ እንትን ሾክ ያለ ደነገጥኩና ይሄ ሁሉ ጣጣ ላይ እኔ ግን 18 ዓመት ይሞላል አሁን ጥር ላይ እና ችግር የለውም በዛ በኔ ላይ ግን ለቪዛ ዶክመንት ይልካሉ እነሱ ከዛ ቪዛ ኦፊስ ይዛችሁ ትሄዳላችሁ ላይክ ሰጣችሁ ትመለሳላችሁ ከዛ እነሱ ደውለው ይጠሯችሁና የቪዛ ዶክመንቱን ከወሰዱ በኋላ ላይክ ፓስፖርታችሁ ለቪዛውን መጥተው ይጠሯችኋል ትወስዳላችሁ ከዛ በኋላ ያለው ፕሮሰስ አልገባኝም ቲኬት ማን ነው ቢሰጠን ኦር ከኤምባሲ ነው ወይ የሚሰጠን ምንድነው ያለው ሲቹዌሽን ወይስ ራሳችሁ ደውለው ቲኬት ተቆርጦላችኋል ውሰዱ እዚህ ቦታ ምናምን የሚባል ነገር አለ ወይስ ምንድነው
Yeah so with the Wilina Masraja part, I mean, I was 16. I was like 16 when I applied, right? So I didn't go through a lot of Wilina Masraja, ብዙ ግን መፈራረም ምናምን አላ እኔ 16 ዓመት ነበር አፕላይ ሳደርግ so it was not ግን እንደዛ አልነበረም right will እዛው will ሰጡን በኋላ ነው ግን እሱ like መጨረሻ ላይ አፕሊኬሽኑን አክሰፕት ሁሉ ነገር ጨርስ they send you a contract እሱ ኮንትራክቱን የምትፈርመው right ውልና ማስረጃ የሚካሄደው ተማሪ